I'm Mike Sheridan, and this is The Delve. Hey, I'm Mike Sheridan, and you're very welcome along to another episode of The Delve. It has been a minute. So, since the 3 episodes that we put out in the summer, I've started working for a publication called Buzz, and The Delve has now come across to Buzz as well. Buzz.ie, it's an Irish publication, and I think what it does is it gives the show an opportunity to be more consistent and to have a bit of help in terms of research on guests, booking guests, and post-production and all that type of stuff. So going forward, hopefully it helps. Hopefully we'll have a bit more consistency. We already have some, I think, really good guests lined up too. My guest today is Robbie Amell. Robbie's in a movie called Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, which is a video game adaptation from the 90s, and it's a reboot of sorts. Previously there was a few of the movies that went out, directed by Paul T. Anderson, which were big movies, more action focused. This one's a bit more horror focused, and it's really good crack. I was genuinely surprised, and I said that to Robbie about how much I enjoyed it. Now, Robbie Amell to me is a fascinating guy because he just looks like every inch the movie star. He really looks like a young Tom Cruise, and he's been working consistently in Hollywood over the last decade or so, or even more, in both TV and in film. And a few years back, he self-funded a proof of concept short movie called Code 8. The homepage read it, and they then crowdfunded money for the movie to be made. They overshot their target massively. The movie Code 8 debuted on Netflix at kind of the start of the initial lockdown in the pandemic and did really, really well. There was a strong response to it. And he's currently filming a sequel to that in Toronto. I make vague comparisons to the movie Swingers, which is a mid-90s excellent movie with Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. Not a science fiction movie, so a little bit perplexing for Robbie, I think, but made sense in the sense that they were both self-funded. Anyway, Robbie's a really nice guy. I think a really fascinating actor that's going to have a lot of longevity in Hollywood going forward. So enjoy the conversation. Robbie, how are you?
Hey, Mike. Good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Like, I wasn't sure if you were going to be in London, if you were going to be in where exactly you were going to be. So you're clearly not in London. Where are you?
I'm in Toronto right now.
I spent a summer in Toronto.
Nice.
On a student visa way back in the day. It's a great town.
It's a fun city. I grew up here. My family's still here. I missed the LA sun a little bit. I grew up playing hockey in the coldest parts of Ontario, and my blood thinned right out when I moved to LA.
The one thing I remember is we went on a J1 to student visa to the west coast of America, and it was all movie along. We were Irish, wet behind the ears, straight in through the airport, and the Americans were just in. Then when we went to Canada, I remember customs stopping us and being like, "Where's a good bar to go to for these guys tonight?" I was like,
"Oh yeah,
I like these Canadians,
very
just
friendly.
a lovely bunch." So how are you feeling about the movie? I saw it a couple of days ago and I really enjoyed it. Genuinely enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not a big gamer at all, but it did bring back some memories of the game being around and playing the game a little bit in the 90s, in my younger days, my far younger days.
You know what? The fact that you're not a big gamer and you like the movie is great, because I'm a diehard gamer. I grew up on the games, and I'm not too worried about people who played the games like in the movie, because I think they're just going to lose their minds over the adaptation and the Easter eggs and stuff like that. But I watched them with my wife. She loved it, but she's biased because I'm in it. So it's great to hear that you dug it. I think it's, I feel really good about it. I think that Johannes made such a great adaptation of the games, but also delivers on just like a 90s horror movie with great music, great action, and really, really great jump scares.
I mean, Crush is in there. Like, if that doesn't bring you back, I mean, I was born in 82, but if Crush does not bring you back to the mid to late 90s, then absolutely nothing will. But it's pretty direct. It's a pretty direct adaptation, right? So that wasn't surprising.
It is. No, I mean, when I first met with Johannes, I read the script, and he and I just geeked out for an hour talking about, his adaptation and the tone in the movie and the characters and what was most important to him to bring over. And we were totally on the same page. And I just knew that he was the right guy for the job. And I thought what was so great was, if you just adapt Resident Evil 1 and 2 to a movie, it would be pretty flat. And there's not a whole lot of cutscenes to pull from. There's great moments which are in the movie, but I just don't know if you would care that much about the characters. And I think what Johannes did so well was build this connective tissue and these relationships between these people, and really humanize them and give people, flaws and something to see in these characters, and relate to. And I think that's why the movie works, and why you care about the parts that are pulled right from the game.
You were a pretty important part at the start of our lockdown here, because Code 8 dropped on Netflix, became one of the biggest movies in the world, or the number one movie in the world for Netflix at the time, and then Upload kind of dropped a few weeks later. So how surreal is it for you to kind of get all this momentum, and the movie was so well received and the series was so well received, but to be in a lockdown with a new kid and all of this stuff is happening kind of seemingly just outside?
It was very weird, but what was really nice was the amount of messages I got from people who were, stuck inside and scared about what was going on in the world, and that they got a little bit of an escape with Code 8 and with Upload. And that meant a lot to me. Everybody was going through it and just trying to stay safe, and to know that, I gave them an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours of forgetting about something for a minute was really, really cool. And, I've obviously there was more important things going on in the world, but that was just really nice to hear selfishly from that level.
And I'm probably showing my age again here, Robbie, but for some reason Code 8, or how Code 8 came about, kind of reminded me of the movie Swingers. And how Vince Vaughn, I know it seems like a random comparison, but how Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau and Ron Livingston and Doug Liman, and how all those guys got that movie made and just did what it took to get that movie made. You obviously, you did a proof of concept, put your own money into it, $70,000. Your homepage on Reddit. So it must be so satisfactory now, just to satisfy now to be, you're making a second one, or you've just finished making one?
We're in week 4 of filming. I just have a couple days off for my press, but it's so cool. We got a lot of the same crew back from the first one. Everybody's so excited to be, back in the Code 8 universe. Netflix took a chance on us with the license on the first one. And, good for them. They saw the success of it, and they came to the table in a big way on the second one, and they gave us more money. The movie's bigger and badder. We brought as much as we could back from the first one. Jeff and Chris, who wrote the first one, have just learned so much in the 2 years since the first one came out, or since we shot the first one. And, the script for the second one is better and stronger. And, it's just really exciting. We always liken it to being at the roulette table and just pushing our chips in over and over and over again. And, it just keeps coming up winning for us. So it's really cool. I'm very proud of it. And it's really exciting to be back shooting part 2.
Is that shorthand still there with Jeff and with Stephen? Obviously, he's your cousin. You guys know each other since, you were born, literally. So is that shorthand still there work-wise?
It's great. I mean, there's nothing better to me than working with friends and family. And, sometimes you don't know the people when you get into it, but like with Resident Evil, Johannes and I became fast friends very quickly, just because we're very similar in our work styles. And I just loved working with him. And Jeff and I talk every day. So to be shooting a movie together is just like it's gravy for us. It's just, we get to make something special we're super proud of. And then Steve and I, it's actually because we both work, luckily, so often, we don't see each other that often. So shooting Code 8 is kind of like, the time we get to actually spend together, which is nice.
That's great. And you've mentioned previously before as well that you'd like to direct, and obviously you've produced the 2 Code 8 movies, and you've produced a short literally from the ground up. Have you were looking at maybe hoping to direct an episode of Upload season 2? Did you get that opportunity, or are there opportunities coming up where you get to step behind the camera and direct?
Season 2 of Upload didn't work out. I mean, mainly because it was a COVID season, and I had a son who was only 1, so it was, shoot and get home and be a dad as much as I can. I'm making a push for season 3. Knock on wood that we get a season 3. I just watched all 7 episodes. It's really, really great. I'm not a big fan of watching myself, but I really love watching Upload because I'm such a huge fan of the rest of the cast, and like they just make me laugh so much. And season 2 is awesome. I think anybody that likes season 1 is going to really love season 2. I would love to direct. I just finished producing a movie in Vancouver called Float, which is a lower budget romantic comedy. And now, being back in the producer's chair producing Code 8, it just feels really good. I would imagine, in the not too distant future, I'll be stepping behind the camera.
And you find even been on a set like Resident Evil with Johannes, just kind of watching what he's doing a little bit differently, and not just obviously taking your own performance, because that's a road you want to go down.
Yeah, it's fun to see how different people do, these different things. And, Resident Evil is such a big movie, to see how he handled the larger set pieces. But so much of directing is done in the pre-production phase and prepping, because once you're shooting, that train's moving. There's only so much you can do. A lot of directing is hiring the right people and finding the tone and the production design, everything before you actually start shooting. And then it's just putting out fires and making sure that the train doesn't get derailed. So, it's awesome to see the pre-production side of things, the post-production side of things, and during, for sure.
Robbie, the movie's a lot of fun. Congratulations on being such a big part of Ireland's lockdown early on.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Great talking to you.
Take care.
See ya.